WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Houston voters will soon decide whether stores and restaurants can sell alcohol.
Recently, a group called Houston Forward collected enough signatures to call for elections for both beer and light wine sales and sales of wine and spirits. Our Allie Martin talks with people on both sides of the issue.
Good morning. How you doing, George?
It's lunchtime and the Dixie Diner is open for business once again. Mike Colbert has lived in Houston for decades and remembers when the Dixie Diner drew big crowds. He is hoping to breathe new life back into the diner and downtown. In fact, Colbert is also developing a boutique hotel right around the corner. He says being able to sell alcohol would have a big impact on his businesses and the entire area, and that's why he will support the ordinances.
Then it will definitely bring more people into town. They'll spend more money. They'll be able to open new shops here. I know if I want to keep more and more young people coming in this town, we have got to cater to them some to get them back here.
Sean Johnson is director of the Chickasaw Development Foundation and founder of a group called Houston Forward. That organization was behind the petition drive to get the alcohol vote on the ballot. Johnson says the proposals are strict. For example, only restaurants with professional kitchens that generate more than half of their revenue from food sales can sell alcohol. Also, alcohol will not be sold after 10:30 p.m. at restaurants or stores. No exterior advertising for alcohol will be allowed, and no alcohol will be sold on Sundays.
Because we are dry, we're losing at least $1 million a year in sales. That's in retail beer sales. Restaurant sector, we're losing $1.2 million a year in leakage. And so this is something that we really need to do if we want to move forward.
But not everyone is on board. Dr. Randy Reinhardt is pastor of Parkway Baptist Church, and he is encouraging his congregation to vote against the proposals. He says the cost will outweigh any benefits.
The other expenses would be the treatments that would have to be there for alcohol, as well as more law enforcement. Also, alcohol destroys lives, both directly through people partaking of alcohol, but I've sat with families whose children have been killed by drunk drivers, whose children have overdosed on alcohol, drank too much, and it suppressed them so that it killed them.
Voters will soon decide the issue. The special election will take place at City Hall, and you have to be a registered voter in Houston to cast a ballot. Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And that election there in Houston set for June the 27th.
A multi-million-dollar cleanup is coming to Monroe County next week. County leaders have approved a debris removal contract. Road manager Sonny Clay believes the price tag will be somewhere between $2.5 to $3 million. Clay says the company will have at least 15 trucks picking up debris. Some of the rubble will be taken to an EPA-approved burn site in Monroe County. Removal will start in the Hamilton area on Monday and move to the northern end of the county over time. The company has 90 days to remove the debris.
Running down to the post office no longer means running down to Macon for Sugar Lock residents. The Sugar Lock post office has reopened. In May, you may remember a fire in the medical clinic next door caused heavy smoke damage to the post office. The facility was closed while repairs were made, causing residents to make that trip to Macon for their mailing needs.
While the post office may be open again, the prognosis is less than certain for the Sugar Lock Health Care Center. The clinic has been the town's only health care provider. Now residents have to drive to Macon, Scuba, Meridian, or Columbus to get medical care. It's a big loss for a small town like Sugar Lock, and nearly everyone is affected.
Well, we're certainly saddened by the tragedy of the losing the facility, and it's an inconvenient because several residents have come by wondering what happened, wasn't aware of what had happened. So here in Sugar Lock, we're close knitted, and what we have, we love it and we support it.
Residents hope to see the clinic open again soon. Time now to turn things over to weather for a first look at our forecast.
Well, we've seen spotty showers off and on all afternoon and evening, but we're seeing mostly cloudy skies, a little bit of break of sunshine up in Tupelo on our Alpha Insurance Sky Camera Network. And this is what we're seeing on our Doppler radar. Just a few isolated showers and storms out there, one just north of Aberdeen and Amory at this time, and that will continue to be the trend as we go throughout the overnight hours this evening. So temperatures are currently sitting right now in the upper 70s, 79 in Starkville, 78 in Tupelo, as well as 78 down in Winona. And as we go throughout your overnight hours, temperatures will drop into the low 70s with more rain on the way.
At least 3 adults were killed this afternoon in another horrific crash in Kemper County. This accident happening on Highway 45 near the Lauderdale County line. Our news partner, WTOK, reports multiple victims were taken to various hospitals in the state. In addition to law enforcement, ambulances and helicopters responded to that scene. Kemper County Sheriff James Moore described the accident as, quote, chaos. One of the vehicles involved was an empty school bus. The Mississippi Highway Patrol is investigating the accident. We hope to learn more information. We'll pass it along as it becomes available. Well, the Mississippi Department of Transportation is participating in a 3-day blitz to make sure trucks and truckers are up to code. MDOT officers are in the middle of the international 72-hour road check.
Our Stephanie Poole talks with an enforcement officer about what they're looking for. She joins us live in the studio with more. Stephanie.
Officers are looking at everything under the hood, but the goal isn't more citations, it's fewer accidents. All 18-wheeler drivers traveling on I-22 in Itawamba County should plan for at least one stop. The Mississippi Department of Transportation is requiring trucks to participate in the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance's international 72-hour road check.
We're out here to make sure that these trucks are safe, so your families are safe driving next to these trucks.
Captain David Gist makes sure all vehicles meet weight requirements. If a truck exceeds the weight limit, that's when Gist and his officers begin a 37-step examination.
Okay. We put them into the pit around back, and then that's when we go under the trucks and start checking for brakes and steering and the suspension aspects.
Officers also checked exhaust systems, tires, and truck load. Drivers are parked until those violations are fixed.
We can take an unsafe truck off the road or get those violations fixed, then the chances of the crash because of mechanical failure is reduced to almost nothing.
Truck driver Randy Tootle was traveling through North Mississippi when he learned his rig didn't meet requirements.
It's a necessity. They have to do that. They might catch something that we can't catch.
And it's not just the trucks getting the once over. Officers are also checking the drivers.
Their bills, the paperwork on the tractors, their driver's license, and while we're engaging in conversation, we can determine if they're under any kind of influence.
Gist says the annual safety road check helps prevent crashes and fatalities on his roads. The final day of the commercial road check is scheduled for June 6th.
A Lamar County, Alabama man convicted of a child sex crime is sentenced today. John Mark Sullivan received 15 years for the crime of sexual abuse of a child less than 12 years of age. He was found guilty by a Lamar County jury last month. The investigation started in 2016 after a report was filed by the Department of Human Services. The Department of Human Services also helped with the case.
A man already charged with cyber stalking and intimidating a witness faces the same charges again. Malik Mingo was arrested on those charges yesterday. He also faces a sexual battery charge in Oktibbeha County. This is the second time Mingo has been charged with cyber stalking and intimidating a witness. Mingo was released from the Oktibbeha County Jail on a $25,000 bond.
It is a bittersweet day here at WCBI.
We celebrate the life and career of one of our own when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back. Our hearts are a little heavier today at WCBI. A member of our family, we suffered a great loss. Our chief photographer, Tony Peoples, passed away this morning.
We're all better people for having known TP and having the opportunity to work with him. Our love goes to Tony's wife, Sandra, and his children, William and Leanne. His work was always out there, even if his face wasn't. Here's a glimpse of the Tony we knew.
It was a good day.
For 37 years, WCBI chief photographer Tony Peoples captured Mississippi from behind the camera. Strong and steady behind the lens, Tony was our leader in the field. He was a mentor, teacher, and most of all, a storyteller. His legacy travels from WCBI with reporters and anchors across the nation. He taught so many so much. We will remember his smile and his encouragement, his work ethic and his life lessons. We will always remember you, Tony.
It was a good day.
Your first alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Kendall Smith.
Well, we have seen spotty showers and storms off and on all afternoon and evening, but we are finally getting a break from the rain. This is taking a look at downtown Columbus on our Alpha Insurance Sky Camera. We are actually even seeing a little bit of sunshine out there. So if you're headed out and about, it looks to be a pretty pleasant evening in store for us. This is our current view on Doppler radar. We're just seeing a little bit of few showers and thunderstorms. They are starting to fizzle out, one just north of Amory at this time, and that will continue to be the trend as we go throughout the evening. So where we have seen some rain, that is helping to cool our temperatures off a little bit. 78 in Tupelo, they've seen some rain today, as well as 81 in Amory, 81 down in Starkville, and 84 in West Point. And we will cool off a little bit more as we go throughout your overnight. So we can see our next weather maker on Doppler radar. We have this tropical system down in Texas as well as Louisiana that will be making its way into our area over the next several days, as well as another system out to the west. So we have several rounds of rain in store for us. And down to that tropical system in Texas and Louisiana, it has dumped anywhere from 2 to 7 inches of rain over the last several days. And that is what's in store for us over the next several days. So by the end of this weekend, we could see anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rainfall. Some spots might even see more than that, so lots of soggy weather is in store for us. So diving into those rain chances a little bit better for you. We're going to keep a chance to see an isolated shower storm around for us this afternoon and evening. And then by midnight, we look to dry out a little bit, getting a break from the rain, mostly cloudy skies, right ahead of the next rain system that's going to make its way into our area by Thursday morning. And we are going to keep those rain chances around all day for your Thursday. And some storms could be a little stronger. The Storm Prediction Center has issued southern portions of our viewing area under a marginal risk for severe weather. The greatest threats here will be gusty winds, and we can't rule out the chance to see an isolated tornado or two, although the severe weather threat is low. And then on Friday, you guessed it, more rain is in store for us. And then on Saturday, this is stopping this around midday on Saturday. Widespread showers are expected, and then for Sunday as well. So you are in store for lots of soggy weather over the next several days. Make sure you have your umbrella and rain jacket handy. Tomorrow, temperatures will be a little bit cooler, topping out only in the upper 70s and low 80s area-wide. Maybe a little warmer for our southern counties, but still not much. Upper 70s are expected, as well as West Alabama, looking at 79 in Vernon and 78 in Soligent. So it's considerably cooler over the next several days than it has been from the past few days that we've seen. So over the next 7 days, look at those rain chances. We have a lot more rain in store for us, but we will get a break from the hot temperatures as temperatures drop down into the low to mid 80s with lows in the low 70s.
The Bulldogs will look to defend home turf, 2 wins away from Omaha. More on Super Regional Preps next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
For the 4th straight year, Mississippi State will look to win 2 games to advance to Omaha. The Bulldogs hosting a Super Regional for the first time since 2016. And then, just like that time, another Pac-12 team comes to town. The Stanford Cardinal had to battle out of its own regional, having to win 3 straight to advance. A total of 6 SEC teams advance to the Super Regional round, and Ethan Small says it's a nice change-up to face someone unfamiliar.
I will say it's exciting to play someone new that you haven't seen before. Of course, you play those SEC teams all the time, then you play them in the tournament, and I think for college baseball, it's fun to have those cross-conference matchups, especially West Coast and way over here. I think that's just really exciting.
They're a good team. You know, it's going to be a dogfight this weekend, but what else do you expect to get to Omaha? You know, you got to earn it, and we look forward to doing that.
Really, it's going to be the same mindset as it's been all year. You know, focus on us, do our thing, and that's how we're going to approach them.
All year long, we've been in the top 5 in the country, and so is Stanford. So that tells you a lot about them right there. It's a West Coast team, but it's also very talented, some high-level draft picks, and they always play a good brand of baseball.
Taking a look at Stanford, runners up to the #1 overall seed UCLA in the Pac-12 this year. 281 team batting average. That's good for 74th in the country, but the Cardinal relying on an excellent pitching staff. 347 team ERA, that's 11th best in the NCAA. 4 Cardinal were drafted in the first 6 rounds of the MLB draft, including center fielder Kyle Stowers, who went on day 1. The Bulldogs 0-2 versus Stanford all-time in baseball, and both times being heartbreakers. Cardinal eliminating the Bulldogs from Omaha in 1990 and defeating a hosting MSU team in a winner's bracket game in the 1996 NCAA tournament. But speaking of the Major League Baseball draft, the dreams come true for a local baseball star. Smithville's Jared Johnson, selected by the Atlanta Braves in the 14th round, becoming the first ever Smithville Seminole to be drafted to Major League Baseball. Johnson, who is a Mississippi State commit, plans to sign with the Braves, according to the Daily Journal. Johnson was the 1A Baseball Player of the Year, leading Smithville to a state championship this past season. A big day for day 3 as the Major League Baseball draft comes to an end. So many guys were picked, we had to separate them by teams. Mississippi State pitcher Tristan Barlow to the Colorado Rockies in the 16th round. 18th round, Dustin Skelton, drafted by the Miami Marlins. Jared Liebelt goes in the 20th round to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Keegan James in the 25th round to the Colorado Rockies. More Bulldogs drafted. 29th round, Marshall Gilbert, drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gilbert drafted as a catcher, even though he plays third base this year for the Dogs. 31st round, Peyton Plumlee goes to the Houston Astros. 32nd round, Cole Gordon will join Jake Mangum in the New York Mets farm system. The Mets taking Gordon in the 32nd. And then the 34th, Tanner Allen going to the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies enjoying themselves some Mississippi State baseball. And as for Ole Miss, pitcher Parker Caracci goes to the Toronto Blue Jays in the 21st. In the 22nd, Cole Zabowski to the Detroit Tigers. 27th, Zach Phillips to the Kansas City Royals. And in the 29th round, Houston Roth, drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. We'll have a full recap of Mississippi guys drafted today in the Major League Baseball draft coming up on our website in just a bit. But for now, that's it for sports. We'll have a last year forecast coming up next.
Well, starting tomorrow through your weekend, we're going to ramp those rain chances back up. But we are luckily going to get a break from those hot temperatures, with temperatures dropping down into the low 80s, and lows are going to be in the low 70s. But, you know, if you're headed out to the Super Regionals this weekend, it looks to be a little wet.
Take your raincoat.
Yes.
Wear your rain boots.
Yes, you'll definitely need them out there. I know we're expecting several inches of rain.
Yes, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches. So it's going to be a pretty soggy weekend in store for us.
And then up there in Tupelo, of course, they've got the Elvis Fest, but just sort of keep your eyes and ears open for what happens with those concerts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.